That's the one we'll use. We will begin tonight with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. And Terry Parker will light the candles, if you will, please.
I shall. And I'm going to say the blessing. And Caton will sing the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
I failed to mention that this is on page 2 or page 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav b'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. And we will now turn to page 70 for Kol Hanashama, that will be sung by our soloist. To our visitors here, particularly, that was sung by Kelly Blackmar, who is living in North Carolina right now. And she has graciously given us some of her melodies that she sang here for over 15 years. She just moved away recently, well, beginning of this year, and we miss her. Now, we can turn to page 6, if you would, please. And let's read this, the bottom part of the page, in correspondingly. I don't believe this. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have passed unburdened, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out our pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We will now continue with, on page 20 and 138, with Lacha Dodi. Kelly will sing the first, second, fifth, and ninth verse. When she finishes the fifth, I will ask you to rise and turn around to face the main door to greet the Sabbath bride. So, Lacha Dodi. Seated. We continue on page 31 or 149 at the bottom. I think for those who are not familiar with this Mishkan Tefillah, it's usually the upper right side is the Hebrew, and it's transliterated also, and then there are the other three sections below it, and on the opposite pages, there are usually two interpretations, and it's still the same prayer. So it's one prayer on two pages. So, this will be on the bottom of page 31, 149. We continue. Please read this with me. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or... what lies before us. Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Arvim. And now we turn to the very next page for the Avat Olam. And it'll be at the top. And join with me and sing if you prefer. Those at home, you can certainly sing. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Ameka Ahavta Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Kuchim u'mishpatim Otanu limadata Altanu limadata Al Kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofteinu B'sheinu menasiach bechukecha B'nishma b'mei Toratecha U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla V'ahavatcha al tasir Mimenu li'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael. And now we will move on to the watchword of our faith, the Shema, on page 34 or 152. And I'll ask those who wish to please rise. And sing along with me. You may or may not know this particular melody. It comes from the camping groups. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. If I'd started it right, it might have come out better. Baruch Shem Kavod Malkuto Le'olam Va'ed. Can y'all hear that noise from my pocket? Good. I have a cell phone in my pocket on silence, but it's blowing into my ears because I have got hearing aids and I've got Bluetooth on hearing aids. So it's distracting. But thank you for bearing with me on this. Well, let us read this together. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. And you may be seated. We go to page 36 or 154 for the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol avka uv'kol nafsheka uv'kol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anoki matzavka hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'tibarta bam v'shivtecha beitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומך, ושרתם להיות על ידך, והיו התותפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. And let us continue together on the bottom. Well, actually, there's only one English prayer, but it's on page 37 of 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. We will continue on page 40 with the Mickve, and at the top, and Kelly will sing it for us now. The next is there is a Hashkivenu in this book. Kelly has a little different wording for it, and she will now sing the Hashkivenu, and you may join in. You may know it. It's a variation on the original. So, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Shalom, Shalom, Hamidenu Shoreinu, V'chayim, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha.
another interpretation of that song, that prayer, will be found on page 43 or 161. And it goes this way. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'yal Yerushalayim. And we will move on to the Shamaru, which can be found on page 44 and 162. So, and you can guess who's going to sing this song, Kelly. So, the Shamaru by Kelly. Can they sing with her? To the Avot and Giverot, which you may find on pages 48 and 50, also 166 and 168. And I'll ask all who can to please rise and recite it with me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor B'Hanurah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tobim, Vekonei Hakol, Vesocher Chasei Avot Ve'imaot, Umevi Gula Lebnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Oseh U'Moshia Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Be'ezrat Serah. Continuing on page 50, 168. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah rav lehoshia, Mechakel hayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berakamim rabim, so make no flim berofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekaye uminato lishenei akah, michamoka ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit, umechaye umatzmiya Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lechiot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. And you may be seated. We will continue on page 53 or 171, the English at the top. Let's read this one together, please. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay, touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We're not skipping much. 2 pages is really 1 page. On page 55, here we go. On page 55, in the middle of the page, that's that word, responsibly, always, thank you folks, seems to always elude me. But I'll start, and by paragraph, let's read responsively in the middle. Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shakas, deny us to false Shabbat, which give us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of hell and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and a rubric of prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We move on to page 57 or 175, the English version of Retzeh, ever-present one. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. This congregation was recently introduced to us about 5 or 6 months ago. And the way Kelly sings it, you missed something tonight. You had to have me. So that's okay. On page 59, at the top, Let's read together. God of goodness, we give thanks for a gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of our soul, a light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemka ulkana'eh lahadot. And we'll conclude this section of the service with the singing of Shalom Rav, and Kelly will lead us in this, and he may join in.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasik Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasik Leolam. Ki ata
Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. We now will turn to page 253, or 371, for the Mickve. It's in the middle of the page. This is the Mickve is, of course, a prayer for those who are in need of healing, who are ill, who are shut in, who need our support. And you may have someone special, a close friend, a relative, that you want to mention that person's name. So as I bring my arm around, mention the name to everyone.
Marvin Salinger. Ellen and Alan Rosenfield.
Hmm? Not used to this. Let us now sing the Mickve by Kelly. Kelly will sing. It's the Debbie Friedman version. Us pause for a period of silent devotion, silent prayer, whatever is in your heart, or just to meditate.
O say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
As we turn into a more celebratory mood, are there people here tonight who have something to celebrate that happened this past week? A birthday, winning a gold medal at the Olympics, anything that is important to you. If you do, please just let me recognize you and stand up and tell us just what it is. You can share that joy with us.
This is my first time being back in the synagogue since my first grandchild was born on April 6th, and her name is Nora Rose.
Okay, wonderful. Her grandchild, Nora Rose, born on April 6th. Yeah, Mazel Tov. Anyone else? All right. Well, then let's sing the Shehekianu.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
We will continue with a prayer for our country, which you will find on page 48 or 376. And join with me, if you will, please, just the middle one. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free and to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. I will add the bottom paragraph also. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. And let us all say, Amen. We will now move on to the Aleinu on page 282 and 586. Just a moment, when I find my place here, we'll open the ark, and I will ask you all to rise. Can't find the page.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם בגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
And continuing on page 287 or 591 in the middle of the page. And Kelly will sing the B'nai Amah. Or I will. and you may be seated. I have here a song called Bayom Hahu. I bet you've heard it. This one was written by Doug Kotler, Steve Kotler, and Jeff Marks. And it's poignant. It has some different ideas. I thought you might enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, tell me about it afterwards. But before I do this, I just want to tell you that our Rabbi Robert Haas, is a joy to listen to. He is a stand-up comedian, and he does gigs around town, and he practices on us, I think. And the services are really enjoyable, and they're timely. But this is called Bayom Hahu. And on that day, we'll leave our doors unlocked. We walk on streets alive with joy. Each stranger's face becomes the face of God. It's not far away till we reach that day. Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad. Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. And on that day, all hunger disappears. Each desperate soul will have a home. Each helpless child will have a hand to hold. None shall be afraid when we reach that day. Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad. Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. And on that day, the world will be at peace. A shining light will lead the way. Every knee must bend, every voice give thanks. So let us pray that we reach that day. Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad. Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Last verse. And on that day, the winds blow fresh and clear, the forests grow, our waters pure. We treasure life in all its many forms. It's the only way for us to reach that day. Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad. Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. And this is probably not the right part of the service to be discussing the Torah, but it works right into the next piece. The parsha for this week is Akrimot 2. Why 2? Well, last week was Yisker that happened on Saturday. So, and the regular Akrimot, which is what I'll just mention a few things about now, was read. So it was a special parsha. This week it is the Akrimot, which I read through, and I read it again, and I thought, it is filled with lots of instructions on rituals, lots of rituals. The one that was probably the most talked about was all the rituals that were involved with Yom Kippur. Okay, why? These are rituals that are prescribed by God in the Torah. So why all the rituals? We go through the motions, we go through the activities. Maybe we don't understand all of the reasons for the rituals that we do perform. But what I gained from the second reading to myself was that God, who brought us out of Egypt to be his people, and for us to recognize God as our God, noticed very easily that a lot of his people were not obeying his commandments. And God did not want all this to happen. Otherwise, all his people would stray away and they become more like the other peoples of the earth. But God had selected us as his people. So he wanted us to stay with him. So many of these rituals are commandments and mitzvot. And most of them, particularly for Yom Kippur, had to do with sacrifice. Sacrifice usually meant the slaughter of an animal in a meaningful way. Well, this practice, of course, we don't have anymore since the temple was destroyed. But we do have many other rituals, and we are always urged to do these rituals, perform them, so that you perform them, I perform them. We're brothers, we're sisters. We stay together. So it's important to obey these rituals as much as we can. I don't think you'll find many households that are going to have an altar and have slaughters happening in them anymore. I just want to bring this up. That there were other items in Akrimot, including atonement, the reasons and why and how, and things such as this service that we did tonight was not ordained by God. It was, I believe, it was written by men over the ages, and women too. So there are a number of things that are interesting, and it takes a while for me to absorb them and get my head around them. So if you want some deep reading, Akrimot is a good one to read. with that's a segue into this next piece, which is called Yesh Kochavim. Now, it is found on page 291 or 595. Yesh Kochavim. And if you know it, sing it with me. 291. Down at the bottom of the page on the left. When I first was introduced to this song, I was thinking, it's a song of memory, of those who came before us, loved ones. And I always thought of my parents. They were supportive of me. They helped me. They taught me an awful lot. And I usually think of them when I sing this song. So here we go. Yesh kokavim shel ram magia atza rak kasher heim atzmam avdu beinam yesh anashim sheziv zikram meir kasher heim. Oh, I can't read that. Kasher heim atzmam Einam a'od botechenu Orod eleha mavkikim B'shekeshkat halayil Heim shemarim la'adam et haderech Heim shemarim la'adam et haderech. And the English. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember. And now, as we prepare for Kaddish, as I prepare for Kaddish, we turn to page 294. And you may rise if you feel like it. And we often do as a community to help support our ones who are grieving. Page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died in this season and years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zechronam lebracha, May their memories be for blessing. We also are reminded of those and are thankful for those who have died in the past year, those in the military, protecting our country, protecting our beings, for the police who help keep order in our land. So let us now recite, before we do that, let me read the names of our yahrzeit. Tobias Bieber, Wallace T. Brown, Goldie Berger, Jean B. Edwards, Helen Eisenberg, Sylvia Sherry Fetterman, Lena Flom, Debbie Garrity, Julius D. Hirsch, Arthur B. Levy, Alex Mendel, Lester Aaron Michaels, Flossie Roth, Sarah Schuster, Rita Schoenberg, Alvin A. Schwab, Carrie Caton Waxelbaum, and Abraham Morris Zerman. Also, I want to mention, we won't say Kaddish for her, but Sarah Kent, I'm a longtime member of our congregation. She was also in my homeroom in high school. Died this past week. Her interment plans have not been solidified, but it will be happening sometime in the near future. So let us recite the Kaddish. Yit Gadal, B'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, B'alma Divra Kurute, B'yamlich Malkute, V'kai Echon, B'yom Echon, V'kai T'kol Beit Yisrael, B'agalah Usman Kari, B'yamru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarak, Le'olam Olmei Olmaya. Yit Barak, V'yit Tabak, V'yit Torah, V'yit Romam, V'yit Naseh, V'yit Adar, V'yit Aleh, V'yit Allah, Shmei D'Kudishah, B'richu. La'ela Minko B'chata, B'shirata, Tush B'chata, V'nechamata, Da'miran, B'alma, B'emru, Amen. Yehei Shalom Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu, B'al Kol Yisrael, B'emru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'romav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu, B'al Kol Yisrael, B'emru, Amen. And you may be seated. So few papers, and they so get messed, changed around. I now will invite Terry Parker, on your right, a member of the Board of Adjunta, who is sitting in for Leslie Westmoreland, upon our seats, the president of the congregation. Leslie is absent tonight because of the celebration of her father's 94th birthday here in town. They have a lot of family coming in, and I thought that's a better place tonight. Terry will give us some announcements.
Thank you, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. Good Shabbos. It's good to see everybody. I've been away for about a month, so it's good to be back. I want to remind everybody that tomorrow morning we're going to have in-person and streamed services at 11 o'clock, our normal time. Next Saturday, May 7th, we're going to have a service that'll honor women for the Mother's Day weekend. There'll be a special kiddish lunch celebrating Marie Dodson, who was a longtime member of the Board of Adjunta and of our sisterhood, who passed away back in March. Very much missed. Saturday, May 14th, in 2 weeks, the kiddish lunch will be in honor of all who contributed to our Fiddler on the Roof campaign. That's the campaign to fix our roofs on both buildings. If you haven't donated, it's still time. You can. There's no, we still can always use more donations. Look for your emails coming to remind you about this special Saturday kiddish lunch. This coming Monday, May 2nd, is the important community-wide Just Nehemiah Action meeting to be held at Johnny Mercer. The doors open at 6:15 and the program starts at 7. If you're a member of the congregation, you've gotten lots of emails about Just. Just is a coalition of congregations working on our social actions. This year's projects particularly are working to increase affordable housing here in Savannah and to modify the cash bail system in order to level the playing field for all. We're looking to really get a lot of people at this. It's a come, and whether or not you've been a part of it or before, it doesn't matter. But again, it's Monday, this Monday. Doors open at 6:15 at the Johnny Mercer Theater. The program starts at 7. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Terry. The closing hymn will be Lechi Lach on page 341 or 644. And as is our custom, we rise to sing the hymn. Following the singing of the hymn, we will have Kiddush here on the bima and Motzi. And then the doors in the back are closed for security. They're locked. They're locked, of course, from the outside. You can't, but inside, of course, you can always get out. But take it. I have to move this. That door or that door, and we'll meet in the atrium in the back, and there'll be wine and challah for everyone. So again, the beautiful voice of Kelly Blackmar with the Lechi Lach. You'll just remain standing for the benediction. I was told, one of the oldest prayers in Judaism. L'varechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha b'chunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha Yasa Adonai panav elecha v'yaseim lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God look kindly upon you and be gracious to you. May God reach out to you in tenderness and give you shalom, peace. And that concludes the service except for the celebration. Okay. You can sing along, and on page 6. Oh, wrong. How about page 2? Right in the front of the book. I'll get it right once. It's on page 5. Oh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uv'ratzon hincheltanu Zikaron lemaseh v'reshit Ki hu yom tequila l'mikveh kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu b'chata B'yotanu kidashta Mikol hamim V'shabbat kodsheka B'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekabesh HaShabbat. Amen. I got to go back to microphone training. Ooh, so excited.
Smells good.
Yeah. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And we will before we adjourn, I want to thank those who helped with this service. Jack Levine, member of the board, Terry Parker, member of the board, and also substitute president tonight. And is Isabel back there? No, Catherine, usher, and also Jason Rich, who is instrumental in getting all the music fit in at the right time and the right song. So we can now adjourn this way, if you wish. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom.